Well, as Becky said, this is Danielle LeGrand. It's my pleasure to spend the afternoon with you all. We're going to briefly go through, actually there's like two sections of this presentation. One is a little bit about the history, Baby Cafe USA, the organization, the backing organization, and then I'm going to tell you a little bit about COBA. And COBA is the Coalition of Oklahoma Breastfeeding Advocates. We are working toward increasing breastfeeding access to mothers and working to increase some, better access for women of color to work on their professional lactation. So we're going to try and attempt to do this. Hopefully I won't speak too fast. What is a COBA Baby Cafe, or what is a cafe exactly? Free drop-in, community-based breastfeeding model that supports a proven model. We're going to talk about the different models. The Cloverdale Baby Cafe has been cited by the Department of Health as best practice. The Baby Cafe in El Paso, Oklahoma has also been cited. A lot of times after we have heard our initiatives, everybody is very excited that this model works. So how does a baby cafe differ from a breastfeeding support group? Well, most support groups don't have a standard. We have a specific standard of care that each one will follow. There's consistency and trust and validation. We also make sure that everybody who is attending, that as far as volunteers through those that are the facilitators, are well educated with up-to-date information. The information that we do keep with our baby cafes will open up your cafe so that it can be accessible and you have all of the information as far as applying for grants. A little bit about a history. It is based out of the UK. The originators were Catherine Purdue and Julie Williams. They were IBCLCs that were very excited about helping mothers. However, once a mother discharged from a hospital, they found that there wasn't a venue for them to continue the care or give them access. Lucia Jenkins has started Baby Cafe USA. We are the first international affiliate of the UK program. She is an RN and a midwife that brought the model to Oklahoma. So the organizational development of the baby cafes themselves. The UK started, they had their first pilot in 2000. In 2002, they became part of the National Trust, which is kind of equivalent in the United States as like a 501c status. Lucia joined them in 2007 by having one of the first international, because since we're based in the UK, we are considered international, which makes it a little backwards to some of our American thinking. But we've had some affiliates in Texas and Georgia. The WICs also help, and then in 2011, they started Baby Cafe USA, which is where we're going to be working. Right now they have like 52 different cafes. Massachusetts has the most with 10 in their area. Texas has 9. Oklahoma now has 2, and we're really excited to see that number grow. I'm a little competitive, so I'd like to beat them out on that. So the mission statement for Baby Cafe, and you can tell when programs are really trying to get everything in so that anybody who has any type of funding, what they want is in a mission statement, but it's to promote and support the development of the WHO Code compliant, community-based, drop-in breastfeeding support centers offering long-term, high-quality lactation care free of charge to breastfeeding mothers. And the free of charge is very important. Baby Cafe, again, was formed in 2011. They currently have a board of 7, and they come from a variety of backgrounds. These just happen to be 2 of the other ones, other cafes in the United States. The model, of course, we're all coming around to center the family. We have the Baby Cafe organization, the people who are always well-trusted, very well-versed and educated. Provisions we'll talk about, review, which is super important, and then the location and place will help you know how to set one up. Provisions of service, of course, now since we have Our mandates that everybody should be able to receive are breastfeeding care. All cafes have a standard of practice. The standard is followed in the Baby Cafe Toolkit. This toolkit lists step by step the responsibilities, the expectations, items that you would need. Everything is specifically listed in this toolkit to help you have a successful cafe. Usually they're always supported. You have hospitals and clinics and WICs and different coalitions. IBCLC care is one of those things. We'll talk about the different levels. We have tiers within a baby cafe. Regardless of your tier, there should always be an IBCLC partnership because we're looking for those to be able to handle those complicated situations. All cafes are WHO code compliant. One of the best benefits for you all is that if you don't have a support group within your community, this will go ahead and fulfill step 10 for your baby-friendly healthcare initiative. We are all part of this network and we share. There is a website for facilitators, and you'll have access to a lot of information from the background from Baby Cafe itself once you become a licensed provider. National and local recognition. We have a grand opening that's required. You do not have to do it right away. It is just expected that you do a grand opening within the first year that you're open. That way you could work out all of your good and bad and make sure that by the time that we go public, everything is perfect and ready to go. The statistical data we'll talk about a little bit about, which again is one of the benefits for the Baby Cafe model, is you will know and you will have everything that you need. The place, location, we're looking for something that's inclusive. You want a nice, safe place, laid back and welcoming. All the staff will either have some form of identification. This says a name tag. They can have a name tag. They can wear an apron. They can have a specific type of shirt. This is one of those things that a cafe just has certain points, and then you can make it your own as far as what is going to be the most beneficial to the people in your community and who you are serving. It's always casual, free, come and go. The reason and one of the biggest things that we try and stay away from is most people will go, yeah, I'm going to the cafe. You have a little bit of issues when people say, I'm going to my support group. Doesn't always mean something's wrong, but it just has that negative connotation. So they like to say a cafe instead of support group. There's no prior sign-ups. Again, people can just come in. Mothers sometimes will think that getting help is hard to reach. This is one of the reasons why we open up these cafes within the community. It should be always on or very, very near public transportation. Looking nationwide within minority women, we always realize that one of their number one barriers is a lack of transportation. So trying to work out something maybe with your public transportation where they get a pass, or churches who will go and pick women up in the community. I'm just giving some ideas out there to just go, how do you help those that are lacking in transportation to go? And the bus is always available. We've got different cafes across the United States. Some meet in church halls. There is a mobile minibus cafe, and it is on the East Coast. Some meet in libraries. And, of course, you can make it fit. You have a space, and you know the people. We're making it accessible. One of the number one things that most everybody says, along with the other items that you will need to teach, was that a digital scale was very helpful. A lot of IBCLCs will say, have a scale, they will come. It's very, very difficult in what we're realizing with breastfeeding, that moms don't have a valve. We don't have a little tick mark that says, yes, you just provided this amount of milk for your baby. And we've personally been able to see how amazing it was for a mother who attended one of our cafes. She had been having some issues with her baby, lost 6 ounces, showed up at one of the cafes. Definitely wasn't a supply issue. She had an abundance of milk. We just needed to help her with her latch. However, before she accessed the scale, went back, we worked on feeding the baby, and she was elated when she went back, and the scale said that she had provided 2 ounces of nourishment to her baby. Within those next 2 weeks, she went back to her physician, her pediatrician, and he verified in that mom, through being able to make a difference, had her baby gain 11 ounces. So we were very thrilled, and his response was, okay, yes, now you will not need to supplement. Good job. So talking about the different tiers as far as our staffing, a Tier 1 has an IVCLC present at every single meeting. So a lot of times, some of the cafes that have an IVCLC present, that's the IVCLC that is running it. A Tier 2 has an IVCLC at every other one, and we're going to talk about a minute of all your alternating staff of people who can be accessible to you. Tier 3 has an alternate staff again, and that's what ours are right now currently in Oklahoma. We are CLCs. So Tier 2s and Tier 3s are always responsible to have an IVCL backup. We've been fortunate to have partnerships with OU. Lactation Department backs up one of our cafes, which meets at Spring Lake campus. And then Baptist Integris Medical backs up our second cafe at Olivet. So if you are in an area that does not have that, that would be something that you want to make sure you have an IVCLC. The alternating staff, 2 CLCs, a 1 CLC and a WIC peer counselor or La Leche leader, or a CLC, a midwife, OB, MD, you can see all of those there. The bottom line is what we're trying to do is make sure that we always have somebody available to handle those emergent issues, and that if a community does not have that, we're going to look at trying to create a way to where we can get a cafe open while not having to compromise care. The review is what makes the Baby Cafe just one of the #1 pilot programs here in the United States, because you are keeping so much data. There are forms that you will get. There will be an additional training that should you decide to partner, and we'll talk about our partnership with our COBA Baby Cafes, that there is an additional training to tell you on how and what information you need to keep. All the information is gathered and compiled by Baby Cafe USA. It is also compiled by Baby Cafe in the UK. They publish this yearly, so the information is always there. It's quantitative and qualitative, so you'll not only be charting why a mother came, but we also have the information of who she is, who is breastfeeding exclusively, their demographics, where they're coming from, what their personal goals are, how far and how long they have breastfed, and what their goals are. And so that model allows you to kind of meet the needs of any mother. You're not stuck that you must teach this subject at this meeting. We just are trying to provide what is available and meet the needs of moms. When we talk about the cost, if you are doing an independent baby cafe, you have $400, and that pays for your license, and those are some of the items that you see. You'll get the toolkit. It does give you your first year of license and gives you permission to use the Baby Cafe name and the logo, both which are trademarked. You can add your location to that as far as being able to have the specific location listed with your Baby Cafe. The training that we were talking about as far as the forms costs $350 to $750. The $750 is if you wanted an on-site to where Lucia Jenkins is coming to your site. To renew your first site, it is $150. However, hold on, I can save you some money because I'm a frugal mama. I'm a frugal here. So we can talk about how joining our partnership. And so COBA has already gone through, and we have a license that we are currently working on, and we have the permission and ability to also be a cluster. So the mission of COBA is to promote, protect, and support breastfeeding in Oklahoma. And we have a vision to where every baby will have access to human milk. So some of the accomplishments of COBA have to give you kind of like our resume of who we are and give you reasons of why you want to be a part of us and join us. In 2000, COBA was started. In 2004, they were working together with our state and were able to get a law passed for mothers on jury duty so that if they were breastfeeding, they had that exemption. As you look through some of these, you may be very, very familiar with some of the laws that have happened. You may be surprised that COBA, the Coalition of Oklahoma Breastfeeding Advocates, was one of the forerunners behind that, kind of working on a little lobbying and get these things pushed through. And so we're really proud of the accomplishments that they have, and we have all done. Our accomplishments more recently in 2015, they did meet all of the strategic goals that they had in 2006. They have been an integral part of the USBC National Coalitions, sending people every year. Somebody from the coalition has presented from there. They've done so well that in 2003, they got a seed grant, and you'll see we're very responsible. So these are some of the things. They implemented plans to address gaps in State 10, which is one of the reasons why I get to sit here today. They talked about ways in which COBA itself could go out and be more accessible, not only just in high government, but to the community. They identified that we needed community support to our minority mothers, and they've helped develop our COBA Baby Cafe. They came out, found me for one, and I've been able to gather up a few other women. COBA has been absolutely supportive of our program. We have two sides. We have received 2 grants, one with Nacho and the other was an ASTO grant. And so we have 2 sides of our grant program. One is to continue to provide service to minority women and underserved within their communities. And the second one is to make sure that we can increase the professionalism within the state of Oklahoma with our minority women. Oh, I forgot to put a picture. So here's our COBA Baby Cafe team. Myself is Danielle LeGrand. I am a DONA certified birth and postpartum doula. I've been working in the community for the last 15 years. Certified breastfeeding educator. And thanks to our partnership with the coalition, Peggy's telling me to tell you which one I am. Okay, I'm the one on the left. There I am. I'm pointing to myself. Okay, so I'm a mother of 6, and I have children aged 28 down to 11. Yes, God has a sense of humor, and I was able to successfully breastfeed everyone. This is Markeisha Robinson. Markeisha is now also successfully completed the CLC training. She is an LPN, works at the Oklahoma City Indian Clinic, and she's a mom of 1. Dee Dee Grayson is a mom of 7. She is a certified lactation counselor also, homeschooling mom, and she has breastfed her 7 children. So we are really, really excited with the opportunities that we're being able to fulfill here in Oklahoma. This is a picture of one of our COBA Baby Cafes. This is our what we call lead site. This was at Spring Lake campus. What we've done within the community is if we're going to go in and start changing and increasing breastfeeding rates among minority population, we're realizing that that's going to require a lot of education. So for our cafes, we have them opened up so that support for people, husbands, boyfriends, mothers, anybody can come with that mother, and they are coming just so that they can also get their questions answered. We do serve lunch. We always have a separate area, so if you have a mother that has an issue and does not want to be in a group setting, she can definitely go back into one of the rooms. Toward the bottom, you see we have our official Baby Cafe license, and this was the first one. We started off our first cafe in January. The only thing that we are noticing right now that we need to work on is getting people to our cafes. So we're working on that, and we can't wait till we have a bunch. One of our cluster sites is at Olivet Baptist Church, and we have that partnership with Baptist Integris with their wellness program. And again, there's our official license. Your official Baby Cafe license needs to be posted when in your room whenever you are hosting a cafe. We are totally thrilled and excited. We're getting ready to open up our second cluster site, which is going to be at the Oklahoma City Indian Clinic, and we're scheduled to open that one April 21st. This one will be our first one that meets kind of toward the evening. Our long-term goal would be great if throughout our state, we had 5 cafes a day, and anybody could pick and choose wherever they wanted to go. We want to always try and make sure our cafes are available at different times, so it doesn't matter whether a mother is working or has to take care of her children, wants to come when dad and the toddlers or the older children are in school. We just want to be accessible. This is just an example of one of the flyers that we've put out. Again, we can meld and go based on where you're wanting, who you're trying to serve. Our COBA logo was created to be very specific because our money within our grant and because we're realizing that we need to make a difference within the community. We've gone in and we've taken the traditional fabrics of the 4 different minorities. So we have African American, Native American, our Asian, and Hispanic or Latina. And so that way when they see this logo, then they're also going to know that not only has that been marketed for them, but the facilitators at the cafes, when they see this logo, will also be women of color. We're going after that peer component that seems to be lacking, or at least it seems to be one of the reasons some of the mothers mentioned why they did not go and access help. Here's one of our posters that, all 4, just again, depends on the location. They're very, very flexible. Here's a tear-off flyer. People like to take some things with them, so we have our little information down at the bottom. So if a mother went by, she'd be able to remember where the cafes were and what they were doing. So here's our drum roll now. Reasons why you should join COBA, and we will work with you, starting our partnership, help you get started. If you were to join COBA, because we've already paid for the licensing, I've worked with Lucia Jenkins, and we have permission to have cluster sites all over our state, and that's what we'd love. I'd love to have a cafe someplace in every single county community. So right off the bat, it's going to save you $400 because we have already paid for that. You would end up paying for your training. Not sure on the logistics. We're still working that out with Baby Cafe USA. The very first site that you have costs $150 for your first year. And every year that you renew, which I believe the renewal date is in April, you would only pay $75. So benefits to this is one of those things we get to enlarge our community efforts. We all can glean on what's working, what's not working from each other. If somebody is sick or ill, then we'll have a great big pool of people to provide so that the cafes can still continue, and it's not just based on one person's availability. Sickness happens, life happens. We just want to make sure that we're always prepared. And so facilitators, if you want to host a cafe, I have very, very eager women that are learning, coming up within our program and working on their certifications that would love to have additional sites to be available and work at. So our minority-based program, again, we use this logo. This logo is one that says, hey, not only is it just, not necessarily just for minority women, but you have a minority woman provider, and we are targeting those areas. This cafe can be in a hospital, it can be anywhere. Really, it's just there to signify that your providers are peers and that this is a minority-based program. Our second one that we're looking at is a community-based program. I'm not attached to this logo. We'll still work on it. I did a lot of work on the other one, so feel free to email me toward the end with your ideas because we want something that's going to represent not only the community but the hospitals. And so, you go into those different color themes because green, they've done a great job with the color green. I think we could all remember the cartoons, and if anybody felt ill, they always turned green. So green may not be a color we want to use because these women are not sick. They're just coming in for support and access to great information. So again, these will be marketed to anybody in the community. They can meet anywhere. Potential for a hospital partnership if somebody is wanting to host one within the hospitals. then we're hoping that, again, like we've had great success and partnering with our hospitals and our community, that everybody can do the same within their communities also. I have no idea where my time is, so I'm either going to be really good or really in trouble. So COBA Baby Cafe is available online. Like us on Facebook. I'm going to go and quickly look at our number, and I'm going to expect to at least see, what do we have on our call, 10? We should have at least 10 new likes. We are working on trying to get better with Twitter. We will soon have a COBA Baby Cafe website up that, once again, is going to do a lot of information. This is where I probably need to do one of my disclaimers, because I do work in the community, and I have worked out a deal to bring healthy children into the Oklahoma City area. It is a week-long training. It is a 45-hour ANCC accredited training. You cannot even miss 15 minutes and then still go ahead and test for your certification. We are hosting one locally, and that's going to be November 9th through the 13th. And we would love for, if you don't have any minority breastfeeding professionals in your hospital, please send them. This is the way in which we're going to be able to change our numbers that are pretty dismal in Oklahoma. We need to start getting women out there who are not only just wanting to help, but they have evidence-based information behind them, work on their certifications, so that, again, we can open doors into getting better service in communities. So I believe that's all I have. Ms. Becky's going to open me up for questions, and I will try to do my best if anybody has any.
See here. I'm going to, we're going to see how this works. I'm going to unmute everybody. So if you have a question, you can either say something or type something in, a question into the chat box to send to us. So any questions from anyone out there? Danielle?
Right here. No, you're unmuted. Can I talk?
Yes. Do you have a question?
Becky, this is Charlie.
Yeah.
Is there any way we can get a copy of this?
Yes, actually, Ingrid has it posted on the website already, the slides.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So other questions from anyone?
How often are you required to meet?
There is no requirement. With our cafes, we are going every other week, but again, that's working to where we have a cafe available every week, because Spring Lake meets on Saturdays opposite the time that Olivet is open on Fridays, and one of them are going to be right in the middle of when we start meeting on Tuesdays. So some of the cafes meet monthly, some of them meet weekly. There's a small cafe that is in Texas, and their budget is $500 a year. And then that goes all the way up to another cafe that is running off of $20,000, but they meet twice a week, and they are a Tier 1. So they're paying that IBCLC $50 an hour, I believe.
You want to say something else about the Baby Cafe training, what you're hoping to do?
Sure. Within our level of making sure that we are providing wonderful professional expert women out there, we've partnered with WIC, or I should say we've collaborated with WIC on several things. Dee Dee, myself, and Markeisha did go through the Loving Support Peer Counseling Program. Roseanne Smith was very gracious to allow us to go ahead and attend that, and we did that so that we would understand how to facilitate it. We, within our COBA Baby Cafe, will host them so that we will have certified peer counselors through our program. The next level that we did, we just went through a training with the WIC and sent several mothers to the breastfeeding training that was just held April 1st through the 3rd with Glenda Dickerson. Breastfeeding Educators Program. We have, I believe, 9 women that will be going in June to Debbie Bocard's Certified Breastfeeding Educator Program. I believe she's scheduled to do that June 16th, 17th, and 18th, and that is at OSU OKC. That is a 25-hour program that has nursing CEUs accredited to it also. And then our certified lactation training that we're also hosting in November. Ultimately, we're going to try and work and get the cafes as sites that will be recognized by ILCA so that when our women are working them, they have partnerships with a few other cafes throughout the United States. And anybody who works that for 2 years has that ability to use their hours toward their IBCLC certification. So if you work it for 2 years, then they get 1,000 hours. That is a great hope.
Okay, so a couple of questions in the chat box. So if someone needs a higher level of assistance from an IBCLC, but there's not one at the cafe that day, how does the mom get help? So that's the hotline.
What we've done, we have access to our hotline, the breastfeeding hotline. But what I have set up within our cafes with our partnership, that we are kind of on a hotline number, and that if we call, let's say, the lactation number for Integris Baptist, they're going to answer right away. That way we can get that mother immediate assistance, make her appointment, or the IBCLC may be able to give that information to the CLC, and then we can move forward from there. But that is something that we've worked out. So again, a mother does not get and fall through the cracks. They get immediate assistance. I hope that answered your question. And the hotline is available 24/7 for anybody at any time, free of charge, no matter where you're at.
I think there was another one here. So Chickasaw Nation, what would the total cost be if they were to partner to do one in Ada?
In Ada. All right. So do you have providers in Ada? I'm looking at your question. So definitely email me. My email is on here at okbabycafe@gmail. We can work out that specifics. We're definitely here to help you. I don't know whether that means that you're just talking and going and through. The immediate cost would be the $150, and that's to pay for your site license. When you go to renew it in April, it would cost $75. I do need to find out how much the training will be, but we're actually working on with Baby Cafe USA is I am going through training so that we will not have to worry about them, and that I will be able to host the Baby Cafe USA trainings for our community. So it's something that we are currently working on, again, trying to keep costs low. From there, when you come in, while we feed lunch to everybody, again, we have a grant. You don't have to. Snacks are available. So decide whatever snack you want. When I went into Spring Lake, they had a boxed lunch. One of the items that they served were cookies and sodas, which I said absolutely not. We're going to model healthy choices, and so we've replaced that with fruit and water. We also do mother's milk tea and pregnancy tea and some other teas, but some of the beverages are also covered. There is a policy as far as hot beverages. Most of all the information that you will need on how to run it, items that you would need, the doll, information on breastfeeding, a breast model of a breast itself is listed in the toolkit. So you can do it, like I said, from a very modest budget. It just depends. I hope I've answered that question for you. I'm going to try to go down. Oh, Miss Becky, yes, there is a fee. Miss Becky just asked me to remind you, yes, the certified lactation training does have an additional fee. They are coming down, and we've worked that out. We should be able to go ahead and give a group discount for companies that are sending at least 4. However, if you only have 1 person interested, I'm trying to do that same discount for 30 days. I will make sure that I ask Ms. Becky to send you all out a flyer and let you know when registration is open. But any individual will get that same discount also for at least the first 30 days that we're posting. And I think that's it. So Kathy Harris said yes. Yes, to with that, yes. Okay.
All right. Other questions from anyone?
Hey, Becky, it's Karen Blackburn. I apologize. I got on late. I had moms and babies in my office. How many people are coming now to these? I missed.
Not enough.
That's our initial challenge. I think is just getting the word out and encouraging attendance.
Definitely.
I think it's been
okay. I just wondered if you guys had mentioned a number of how many you've had so far. So
been like one or two at a cafe. Not any big groups yet.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Other questions from anyone?
We have a question.
Yeah.
Do the discounts apply for the community COBA as well, or is that just for the minority?
That would be for all of them.
For all of them?
Yes, ma'am. You'll just have to decide what your community is, and really basically the bottom line is who your facilitator is going to be. If you just have a joint venture, then yes, it would be a community/hospital. Or if you're doing the minority, it's with that minority logo and you have a minority facilitator. Other than that, no, you're more than welcome. Everybody is the same. We've already opened that door, and so that will save the $400. You would not have to pay for that license. One of the $150 fee basically pays for that.
Okay.
Okay, so one of the things that we run into with SSM, and I'm sure with other places as well, is that we have to submit contracts for everything. So do you guys have a physical contract that you have that we could submit for approval or anything like that to get approval from?
To get approval to join the Baby Cafe?
It's kind of like that. A lot of the things that they have, they've wanted us to have contracts, like what is our obligation, what's our liability, all of those kind of things. Do you have anything like that?
We'll create it for you.
There you go.
We'll get it done. I will show Becky all of our paperwork, and if it's something that we either need to get from Baby Cafe USA or create for COBA, then we will get that done.
Okay.
Because the contract with Baby Cafe USA.
We have the initial
the
one.
license.
Yes.
But yeah, we haven't yet had a
independent.
a community cafe or whatever that we've needed a separate contract for.
Okay.
We're second
And I don't know if it's something that they would make us do, but I just know it's like everything I've done, I've had to have a contract for and send in for approval.
That's okay. Thanks for the heads up. We will create you a contract.
even if it's a memorandum of understanding or something. Yeah.
Definitely.
Something like that, yeah.
And they may be able to look at what you have and see if there's something that we would have to modify or add to it or something like that. So, okay.
Absolutely. Totally willing.
Is that Charlie Honey, or was that?
That was Christy.
Christy from where?
St. Anthony Shawnee.
Okay.
She's with me. She's with Charlie.
I think I just met you ladies.
Yeah.
You met Charlie and Susan. Yes, you met me and Susan last week.
Wonderful. Hello, ladies.
Hello. We've already got some places in mind that we're thinking about.
Fabulous.
So
Well, you're
just
close
trying
enough.
to get started.
Let me know when you're ready, and we'll just create a meeting and come down and have a powwow and get it done.
Okay.
Okay.
When is that class for the training?
Which class? The Certified Lactation
Counselor.
Counseling Training? That's November 9th through the 13th. It runs 8 to 5. The last day you'll leave, the proctors come in, and I believe the test starts around 12. And obviously, if you're a great test taker, you'll get out of there faster. But I believe you have till 4:30 to complete it. There are 2 areas that they will have to show that they are competent in. There's a 100-question multiple choice test, and there's also a video assessment assessing a latch.
Okay.
What about the COBA training? The actual Baby Cafe training.
Baby Cafe training, I'm still working out with Baby Cafe USA. You will
Okay.
not have to pay. We had to pay $350, so I can tell you it will be well under that. But that's one of the things that we're trying to open those doors. We just have to work out the fee on what we need to charge for that. But it'll be minimal because I'm working steady and trying to grow so that you'll have access to me and we won't have to have them come down to do that training.
Yeah, it would be done through COBA.
It'll be done through COBA, absolutely. But you'll still be a licensed Baby Cafe USA. Once you have a license, you're listed on the website. That's one of the ways in which anybody knows if they want to know if they have a licensed Baby Cafe. They can go to the website. The information is listed as far as when you meet, who the facilitators are, contact information. Those are things that we have to keep updated. Let's say you start your cafe at one location and you change. You will have a facilitator number to go onto the website to update that information so that they can change it as soon as they can.
Okay.
Okay. I'm gonna give Becky Mantle her hot seat back. Is there anybody else that had any other questions for me?
If we worked with, if St. Anthony Shawnee worked with like CPN, WIC, and things like that, can we go together as one group and buy in together as one group?
You can. We're looking at a partnership with our WICs also, so we're working those things out. By the time you go, it may be all one, but yes, definitely.
Oh, it's what it costs now. Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, on that note, we've had very strong interest from WIC to support the baby cafes around the state. So sometimes it might be that the WIC clinics in different local communities may have a good site, and then there's no cost. One of our first lead site here in Oklahoma City, we're having to pay a rental fee for the space. So we actually would like to move that one so we can save money and make this sustainable. But yeah, anything you can do to find a site that you're not going to have to pay any kind of space usage fee or rental fee or something is going to make the program more sustainable.
Yeah, definitely.
Anyway, well, we have a few minutes left, and I know we had a number of people on today, so just, I think a couple of brief announcements. The online registration for the 15th Annual WIC Breastfeeding Symposium is now live, and that's at okwic.com, www.okwic.com, and people can, it's free, and of course, and people can register online easily. And I don't know if, make sure everybody's gotten that information. And Ingrid, I don't know if we've posted that on our newer website. And actually, while I have the screen up, let me just do that real quick and make sure everybody has seen our new website and where the webinars. We're recording this today, but Ingrid had already posted. I'm just showing you can go under the Becoming Baby Friendly project, and here's the webinars. So she's already got the PowerPoint slides posted from Danielle's presentation today. Then our next webinar will be May 13th at the same time, and Ann Meerwood is going to talk about prenatal education, so addressing step 3. But anyway, that WIC Symposium is Friday, June 12th. It's at UCO in Edmond, and we have a really good lineup of speakers. There are 2 nationally known occupational therapists / IBCLCs from Seattle Children's that will be talking about breastfeeding and oral motor dysfunction and so forth in babies. And then Clifton Keenan, who some of you may have seen who spoke at our summit last year, and he's giving a couple of presentations as well. And then we'll have a lot of things to celebrate 15 years of the Breastfeeding Symposium. So that's coming up not too far away. And I think otherwise, any other announcements from anyone else that's on today? I know Danielle's getting ready to walk out and check on her teen laboring mom.
Still waiting.
So, oh, good. Baby did not come while she was here. So, all right, thank you, Danielle.
Okay.
All right. Well, if no other announcements, we will wrap this up and hope to see everybody online here next month. We will wrap this up, and thanks for joining us today.